Hello, this is News Now, reaching you live from iBrandTV News Studios in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up, Ghana fumes over its ban from importation of specific goods into Nigerian markets. Nigerian government demands return of 1,130 Benin bronzes looted in the 19th century. Haiti's security forces in fierce gun battle with the assailants who assassinated President Jovenel Moïse. South African former President Jacob Zuma begins 15 months in jail. Hello again, and thanks very much for joining us on News Now. And here are stories making headlines this hour. I'm Michael Nath. The head of the Ghana delegation and Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has called for a review of its prohibition list that bans the importation of specific goods and commodities into the Nigerian markets. The Speaker, who led a 13-man team on a working visit to the House of Representatives, says he is hopeful that the frosty relationship between Nigerian businessmen and the Ghanaian counterparts will be resolved soon.
Of the standing orders of the House of Representatives do admit into the chamber the Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament and his entourage to address the House at this material time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
The symbiotic nature of our relationship as a result of this cannot be gainsaid. This explains why within the sub-region, even though we do not share geographical boundaries, we share the same ideals. We see ourselves as one people with a common destiny.
You have addressed the issue of the prohibition list. We will definitely look at it. We will be mindful of the need for bilateral trade between the two countries and the smoothness of the same, whilst being mindful as well of the deliberate protectionist policies of both governments. I believe that we will strike a very delicate balance and come up with a win-win situation for Nigeria and for Ghana. It is important that we look into this because these are the guardrails of parliamentary diplomacy and the guardrails of democracy.
All right, now the People's Democratic Party National Assembly caucus yesterday supported the push for power shift in 2023 by Southern governors. The caucus also supported the resolutions of the governors who met on Monday under the aegis of the Southern Governors Forum on electronic transmission of election results and state police. The caucus at a news conference in Abuja, addressed by Senate Minority Leader Senator Eninaya Abaribe, described the alleged move to remove electronic transmission of results from the Electoral Act Amendment report as unpatriotic and mischievous. Also, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum reiterated his call for power shifts to the south in the of fairness, equity and justice. But he advised Southern governors who passed a resolution on presidential zoning to the south to conduct their agitation in utter sensitivity to the feelings of other geopolitical zones. Zulum said while the agitation for power shift to the south is in order, the Southern governors should exercise caution and refrain from overheating the polity ahead of the elections. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Imo State Disaster Management and Social Development, has flagged off the enumeration of homegrown school feeding. This is to tackle the effects of poverty, increase school enrollment and boost the nutrition of pupils in government primary schools across the state. Speaking during the program in Owerri, the Imo State capital, The minister, who was represented by the director in the ministry, Mr. Raf Obi, says over 9 million people have been benefiting from the first free meal a day during the school term nationwide.
Very key for the issue of the poor and the vulnerable. So we expect that the state should go down to the grassroots, get those people we call poor and vulnerable, and let them benefit from this myriad of programs that the federal government is rolling out. I was just talking with the Commissioner of Budget that the turnout at the independent monitors is not impressive, because I know what happens elsewhere, especially in the north, where you have thousands of people coming up for the program. The federal is spending the money, so I don't know why.
We would therefore give all the needed support to the National Social Investment Program, NC. Prior to my speaking, the representative of the Honorable Minister had mentioned that His Excellency has gone steps ahead of any other state government in this country to establish a bureau specifically targeted at coordinating all intervention programs from donor agencies and related multilateral agencies. And working with the SDG, we are very certain that this coordination between these two, or between all parties involved, will ensure that the National Homegrown School Feeding Program will be a sustainable venture in Imo State, and that those who desire or deserve this program get the value for what it is intended for.
The federal government has demanded what it described as a full and unconditional return of 1,130 Benin bronzes that were looted from Nigeria in the 19th century and domiciled in museums in Germany. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, made the demand in Berlin, Germany on Wednesday during separate meetings with the German Minister of State for Culture, Monika Grütters, and the German Foreign Minister, Heiko Maas. A statement issued on Thursday by the Special Assistant to the Minister, Segun Adeyemi, said he was reacting to comments by Grütters that Germany was ready to make substantial return of the 1,130 looted artifacts. Grütters reportedly said the way we deal with the issue of Benin bronzes is important to addressing our colonial past, describing the issue as an important personal concern. She assured his Nigerian counterpart that the 1,130 artifacts will be returned to Nigeria from the beginning of 2022. Grütters, Germany, has twice sent delegations to Nigeria for talks over the planned repatriation as an indication that both sides have moved beyond mere talks. She said all the museums in Germany that are holding Benin bronzes have agreed to cooperate. The BAYELSA Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Police Brutality and Other Related Offences has awarded 221 billion naira to victims of extrajudicial killings perpetrated by the police and other security operatives. Chairman of the panel, retired Justice Young Ogola, disclosed this while submitting the report to Governor Aduye Diri in Yenagoa. Justice Ogola said the panel received and determined 50 petitions and made recommendations based on their findings. Out of the 50 cases, he said 11 police officers were recommended for prosecution, 1 for dismissal, 4 for demotion, while 8 cases were struck out and 2 adjourned. The chairman explained that the 21 billion naira was awarded in damages out of the 40 cases fully determined, adding that the amount included compensation to communities raised down by the Nigerian army. The House of Representatives on Wednesday approved the federal government's 2021 supplementary appropriation bill, raising the estimates from the proposed 895.84 billion naira to 982.73 billion naira. The House Committee on Appropriations raised the amount by 86.89 billion naira in its report laid earlier on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the House considered the recommendation as a committee of supply and unanimously adopted the report in plenary. The House Committee on Appropriations, however, recommended a total of some 982.73 billion naira, of which 123.33 billion naira is for recurrent, not debt expenditure, while the sum of 859.4 billion naira is for contribution to the Development Fund for capital expenditure for the year ending December 31, 2021. The House of Representatives on Tuesday condemned in its entirety the very worrisome state of insecurity in the country, which have continued unabated. This follows the recent incident of kidnapping and killings at Bethel Baptist High School on July the 5th, 2021, at CHUKUN local government area of Kaduna State, where over 140 students were abducted. The House of Representatives therefore urged the federal government, as a matter of urgency, to increase its recruitment and training capacity for military men and the police.
There are quite a lot of numerous unreported cases of banditry attack in various communities where they adopt innocent citizens for ransom. Further concern that this incessant kidnapping and killing has negative impact on food security, agriculture, and employment. Aware that the Kaduna State government has shut down 13 schools in Kaduna State as a proactive measure to prevent further incidences. Further aware that there are thousands of people displaced from their communities due to frequent attack and who are taking refuge in different unofficial IDP camps in my constituency, and the state government has provided relief material which are grossly inadequate. The House hereby resolved condemn the senseless incessant killings and adoption of Nigerians, pray for the repose of the soul of all military personnel and other victims who lost their lives in the hands of these bloodthirsty gunmen. Honestly, the government has failed in terms of providing security for my constituent. I will speak particularly for my constituent. If there is anything said we are doing our best, I would say their best is not good enough for us. Their best is a failure. Their best, which they term as best they can give Nigerians, is a failure.
A group under the aegis of Committee for the Defense of Human Rights says the trial of NNAMDI Kanu would be among the historic trials of this century the nation would experience. President of the group and former Attorney General of Edo State, Osagie Abayuwana, expressed concern over the rearrest and detention of the IPOB leader.
Where NNAMDI Kanu will also have his opportunity to defend himself and also call witnesses. So it's going to be sensational. So what we would expect is not a situation where he's kept indefinitely. The matter has been adjourned. By the next adjourned date, the prosecution should be ready to proceed. Call witnesses, come forth with documents believed to be sufficient enough to prove the allegations that have been made against him.
In Taraba, an area to customary court sitting in Jalingo has dethroned AUWAL ZUBAIRU as the acting Mbondua of KABRI chiefdom. In his ruling, the judge, Lumumba Bamabas, said that the evidence before him proved that the acting Mbondua is not the heir to the throne.
Given a judgment, we have taken it the way it is, but this is still the first stage of the battle. We will go upstairs and see at the High Court. We will appeal.
As you heard in the judgment, there was a purported KABRI chiefdom constitution order which creates a rotational system for the chieftaincy of KABRI. But going through that document, That document was not signed by the governor of Taraba State. And that is why the court declared that that document is a trash. That document commands no legal value.
No any rotational title in KABRI chiefdom. It was Alhaji Jule Wakili Garba, a loon, that the governor of Taraba State, the present governor of Taraba State, appointed him as a governor, as the chief of Mbondo of KABRI, and he came, he only made 2 months. There is no any ruling house in KABRI apart from Jule Wakili Garba ruling house.
Governor of OSUN State, Adeboyega Oyetola, has inaugurated independent monitors of national social investment programs in the state. During the inauguration of the Staff Development Center, State Government Secretariat, Abare Oshobo, which also witnessed the distribution of letters of engagement and devices to the independent monitors, Governor Oyetola said the administration had earned several accolades for its exceptional and outstanding performance on social intervention programs implementation.
I would also like to congratulate all our enumerators and independent monitors for their selection for this very important task. As a state, we are irrevocably committed to ensuring that our vulnerable citizens are duly supported. You will recall that our state has over the last 1 decade shown consistency in our implementation of a wide array of social protection programs, which continues to impact very significantly on the lives of our citizens and has earned us the pride of place as a leading state on the Human Development Index. Only recently, we commenced the feeding of 30,000 persons who are poor and are vulnerable on a monthly basis, as part of our own unique way of cushioning the effect of the current economic challenges on the poor and vulnerable in our state.
You're watching news now from iBrandTV, Lagos. We'll take a break now. We'll come back. African News.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiviv family.
You're welcome back. Zambia's founding leader, Kenneth Kaunda, was buried Wednesday amid ongoing controversy over his burial site. Some of his relatives had wanted him buried at his farm next to his late wife, Betty, with whom he had 10 children. But the burial proceeded without incident at a special cemetery dedicated for the country's leaders. The country's first president and independence leader is buried at the country's presidential burial site despite an 11th-hour bid by some of his relatives to block the interment. Now, meanwhile, Lungu has declared KAUNDA'S birthday, April the 28th, as a national holiday. Now, South African former President Jacob Zuma turned himself in to the police on Wednesday to begin 15 months in jail for contempt of court, the culmination of a long legal drama seen as a test of post-apartheid state's ability to enforce the rule of law. Police spokesperson Liranzo Themba confirmed in a statement that Zuma was in police custody in compliance with the Constitutional Court judgment. The Department of Correctional Services said in a separate statement that Zuma was admitted to Escort, a correctional center about 175 kilometers from his rural homestead in Nkandla in eastern South Africa. Television aired live footage of his motorcade entering the facility. The court gave Zuma a 15-month jail term last week for defying an instruction earlier in February to give evidence at an inquiry into corruption during his 9 years in power until 2018, and the inquiry is led by Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. Foreign news now. Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga formally declared Thursday a state of emergency on Tokyo, putting restrictions aimed at curbing coronavirus infections in place through August the 22nd. Haiti's security forces were locked in a fierce gun battle on Wednesday with assailants who assassinated President Jovenel Moïse at his home overnight, plunging the already impoverished, violence-racked nation deeper into chaos. The police had killed 4 of the mercenaries and captured 2 more. Police General Director Leon Charles said in televised comments late on Wednesday, added that security forces would not rest until they had all been dealt with. Moïse, a 53-year-old former businessman who took office in 2017, was shot dead, and his wife, Martine Moïse, was seriously wounded when heavily armed assassins stormed the couple's home in the hills above Port-au-Prince at around 11:01 a.m. That's local time. You're watching news now from iBrandTV, Lagos. Up next, sport news with Jidechi.
Welcome to the sports update. I am Jidechi Chidi. Now, footage of Real Madrid's Bernabeu has shown intended plans to modernize the 81,000-seater stadium with a retractable roof. The La Liga giants had initially planned to open their updated home in the summer of 2022, but the coronavirus pandemic meant they could bring forward the renovation plans, and the project is expected to finish much sooner. As there were no fans in attendance last season, Madrid used this opportunity to play their home matches at their ground, Estadio Alfredo Di Stefano, where they also played Chelsea in the Champions League. Spanish outlet Marca also reporting that more than 700 workers have been involved in the stadium renovation, with hope that the project completion still March when fans are permitted back entry into stadiums by the Spanish government. And still Real Madrid-related issues, Sergio Ramos, former defender of the Spanish Giants, considered one of the best defenders in the world, has signed a 2-year contract with Paris Saint-Germain, the French club announced on Thursday. The 35-year-old veteran, who won the Champions League 4 times with Real, a World Cup and 2 European Championships with Spain, said in a PSG statement that the move is a big challenge in his life and a new challenge and a day he will never forget. And moving on to Wimbledon, in this year's biggest competition, the Wimbledon has experienced the biggest upset so far at the competition, as 8-time champion Roger Federer was unceremoniously dropped out in straight sets in the quarterfinal clash by Poland's Hubert Hurkacz, in a match that left not only the 40-year-old former champion shocked, but only spectators after it ended 6-3, 7-6, 6-0. It was the biggest defeat suffered by Federer in a career that has never been bagged at the SW19. And that's all for now on Sports Update. Michael, it's all yours now.
Now, the Board of Directors of the African Development Bank has approved a loan of $50 million to First City Monument Bank to channel to local enterprises and women-empowered businesses in the agribusiness, manufacturing, healthcare, and the renewable energy sectors. AFDB disclosed this on Wednesday in a statement that 30% of the funds was intended to mitigate the effects of the challenging of COVID-19 environment and earmarked for undeserved women-empowered businesses. It added that the bank would provide a technical assistance grant of $200,000 through its Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa initiative, supported by the Women Entrepreneurship Finance Initiative. Power generation companies on Wednesday declared that the country's available electricity capacity had dropped by about 3,000 megawatts. Executive Secretary, Association of Power Generation Companies, Joy Ogaji, said the available generation capacity plunged from about 9,000 megawatts to 6,000 megawatts, adding that not all of the current capacity was being utilized. Figures obtained from the Federal Ministry of Power in Abuja on Wednesday showed that the highest quantum of power that was utilized in Nigeria as of July the 6th, 2021 was 4,370.7 megawatts. The Federal Revenue Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has engaged some commercial banks as agents to freeze and recover 1.83 million or 3 trillion naira from accounts of MultiChoice Nigeria Limited and MultiChoice Africa. This is contained in a statement issued by the Abdullahi Ahmed, Director, Communications and Liaison Department of FIRS in Abuja on Thursday. MultiChoice is the owner of the satellite television DSTV, a popular subscription-based platform in Nigeria. The FIRS explained that the decision to appoint the banks as agents and to freeze the accounts was as a result of the group's continued refusal to grant FIRS access to their servers for audit. The service said it discovered that the companies persistently breached all agreements and undertakings with the servers. The Senate President Ahmed Lawan has announced members of the Conference Committee on the Petroleum Industry Bill. The announcement was made during plenary. The members of the Conference Committee are Senate Leader Yahya Abdullahi, Chairman Muhammad Sabo North, West, Albayt Abasi Akban, South, Danjuma Goje, Northeast, Okweyemi Bamidele, Southwest, Stella Odua, Southeast, Gabriel Suswan, North Central. The panel will, in a joint meeting with their counterparts at the House of Representatives, harmonize the report of the PIB, which was passed last Thursday. Up next is entertainment news. Nollywood veteran Stella Damascus has advised women to learn how to defend themselves from abusive partners. The movie star made this known while reacting to the comments she got from some men after she shared a clip from a movie on her Instagram page. In the clip, a woman walked into her husband's cheating and instead of the stereotype reaction of sobbing or denial, with her martial skills. Now, the actress slammed those who questioned her motive behind the release of the video. She went on to advise women who are experiencing domestic violence in their homes to learn martial arts to defend themselves from their abusive partners. Hear her.
Every woman to be able to stand up for herself. If you have an opportunity to learn martial arts for self-defense, learn it. So that any man that wants to lay hand on you, molest you, or rape you, or whatever, you at least have a skill in your life to be able to push them, strike, and run for help if you will see help. Because in the culture where we come from, when you go out there and say, oh, my husband beat me, my husband raped me, they will turn it around and make you the perpetrator.
It appears women are now taking up the challenge. Nollywood actor Gideon Okeke has welcomed our second child with his wife Chidera. The movie star took to his Instagram page on Thursday, July the 8th, 2021, where he announced the big news. Her Instagram post states, "Mama Bear, Adera, cheers to the custodian of my legacy. Cheers to the nurturer. Cheers to my love assignment. Wherever one is headed, the destination is as good as the person you are riding a shotgun with," he wrote. Congratulations to the Okekes. And it's on that cheery note we end the news from iBrandTV Lagos. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Michael Nath.